Well, I definitely want to do something in making or design, creating something.
So more focus on freelance?
No, I kind of want to look at ways to, I don't know, again, work for a company maybe, or for a startup or something.
What kind of companies, like,
So there
startup?
are two types. There are a couple types of companies. One is you could work for a consultancy, a design consultancy. I've done that. They're small. They're about 6 to 10 designers maybe. You can work in corporate design. So like a huge company, like Samsung or or Nestle or I don't know, Philips or any company really.
They all need design.
Big corporate, yeah. The ones that make products. I'm not going to work for a law firm, for example, because they don't make anything. But it could be a medical product design, or it could be, I could work at Caterpillar designing, forklifts. I mean, it could be anything. It could be at a car company doing interiors.
I had an idea.
Uh-huh.
Actually, a few years ago, the other day we were talking about like random ideas we've had, and the best idea I ever had I completely forgot about. And I think somebody has now come up with it, which really, burns me. But when I worked in Loma Linda, we did a lot of stuff with like carpal tunnel syndrome and testing for that.
Yep.
So I had imagined what kind of keyboard might be easier on people's wrists, and like which fingers are the ones that get carpal tunnel syndrome the most. And so the idea I came up with was kind of like a 3-row, or you're really just using your strongest fingers and not bothering your wrists at all. And now I think somebody just invented that. But it was like a different shape and it was like rounded. And I just saw it on like Bloomberg or something. But yeah.
Happens all the time.
Does it? Is that why like it's important to find a person who knows how to actually create the products? Like when you have the idea. Yeah.
So
like your services are extremely valuable in that sense because you don't want to be that person who's like, why didn't I make that?
Well, first of all, you can't patent an idea. You can only patent a utility. So having the idea is great, but you then need to make something, and then it has to be, you have to hope that no one else did it, and you can patent it. So I've worked on patents, helped. I'm listed on some. Don't worry, I'm not getting any money from them. But, you have to list the inventors if they contributed to the utility of the patent. And then, but the company owns it. So work for hire means that whatever you come up with, the company owns. But then again, you also get a paycheck, so...
Do you get, like, royalties or licensing or nothing? No.
Only if that's negotiated beforehand.
So those are the kinds of things that you want to make sure to, like, just discuss with a potential client.
But then a client might say, then I'll hire someone else because I don't want to give away my... Now, if a client can't afford you or is like, hey, could you work on spec? Then you can say, all right, I'll work on spec. But then we need to sign a document that if something comes out of this project, I get either royalties, equity, something, whatever. But that's like a, that's like a business kind of contract kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 clients like that, where I'm not getting paid much, if anything, but I have a little equity.
Sorry.
I have a little bit of equity, but equity of 0 is 0. So, and I've done this in the past. This is my first time, and it's gone nowhere. So I take a risk, just like everybody else. We always hear about, Instagram got sold for $1 billion, but for every Instagram, there's like 1,000 non-Instagrams, that went nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
That reminds me of what we heard the other night from Ryan Murphy,
Yes.
Because just because your idea
Yep.
doesn't work out right now.
No. Or it doesn't mean that you come up with another idea, or you come up with a better one, or that first idea that failed taught you so much that your second idea is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that some of the success stories we hear, that was their second attempt or their third attempt. And it was the failures that made them adjust to get to the solution that made them successful.
Have you ever had that kind of experience, like a product you were sure was going to be like the next big thing, and then it didn't really pan out, but then it gave you a better idea later?
I've been part of products that I was hoping would be really big but weren't. I haven't really invented on my own a lot, so I don't have one where it led to another idea. But I mean, it's something I sometimes think about.
I like the creativity of all of this. It's very cool. I had another question in mind, but I have pizza in my brain now.
Okay.
Oh, I remember what it was. Are you familiar with the company called Quirky?
Yes.
What do you think of that? That like crowdsourcing ideas?
So Quirky, what's great about Quirky is those inventors might not have the capital to prototype and do a low volume run or something. They just don't have that kind of cash. But they have an idea, and usually they have prototypes. They're not just saying, "Oh, I have a great idea." You got to show it.
Okay.
And so what Quirky does, just like Kickstarter is different. That's crowdfunding. It's a different model. So Quirky's model is, I like your idea. I'll invest in the prototyping, the manufacturing, and some of the development, and give you a royalty. But Quirky is taking most of the risk, so the royalty is, going to be proportional to the amount of risk that they take and how bad they want it.
Do you think it's a good way?
It's a great way.
Yeah.
If they're not. So there are also companies out there that are scam companies, kind of.
Oh, really?
Where they take inventions and they kind of charge
Our
you.
Attorney General might have been involved in one of those
Yes,
companies.
exactly. So, but that's of course a different incentive. They just want to scam you out of money.
Yeah. Is
But
that a big problem for? No. That's good.
I mean,
Everybody doing okay over here? How's your pizza?
it's a problem. It's a problem for people that aren't familiar with the design process and the intellectual property process. So they're taking advantage of people that don't know that.
Yeah.
But
So you have to
I
do
think
your
Quirky works great for certain types of products and certain types of inventors. Yeah.
What kind of products and inventors would it not work well for? Or would it work well for?
Well, if it was someone that has the finances to hire people, work for hire, to do the development for them, then they would still own the whole thing, yeah.
So Quirky is kind of poaching potential clients.
No, well, what Quirky is doing is they are offering to take up some of the financial risk in return for ownership. And a garage inventor that doesn't have that kind of money, it's a perfect solution for them. Because if they make a product that they literally cannot afford to prototype or start a company around with distribution and sales and manufacturing, then the idea is going to sit on a shelf.
That's pretty good. I've seen Quirky products in stores, and you just think like anyone could have contributed to that product. And the way that they do it is kind of interesting. Like people can, you put your idea out there, and then other people start to tweak it a little bit, and that's kind of an interesting way to do something, I guess.
And crowdfunding is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Similar but
See a
different.
lot of that in your industry these days.
Crowdfunding, what's great about that is you can see in advance if there's enough demand for your product. So your product won't fund unless there's enough people that are interested in basically pre-ordering your product.
Right. Have you ever worked on a project like that? Was it a good experience?
Sure, I mean, it didn't go anywhere, but we learned a lot from it. And it wasn't my product, but I did help with it. That's the good thing about crowdsourcing is you'll know right away. Not right away, but you'll know if enough people are interested. Because if you hit a certain minimum amount that you set, by the way, based on a project plan for execution, which manufacturing included, if you hit that bar, then technically that's a go. Now then I'm going to get into, if you want to hear more about that, that's more like a specific manufacturing. It's a very simple supply and demand. No, not supply and demand. It's a costing model. You figure out how much it would cost to tool a product.
Tool a product?
Yes,
Meaning
which
make
is-
a prototype?
No, for manufacturing.
Oh, okay.
How much would it cost?
Sorry, I have to get in here.
Uh-oh, did I?
Come
Wait.
over here, I'll wipe you.
No, here, what?
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
the director's
No.
cut.
Totally fine.
I didn't know this. I'm sorry.
Let's say you want to make an iPhone cover. It's going to cost a certain amount of money to make the tooling to make 100,000 of those or a million.
To make the tooling?
The tooling, which is the actual machine tool that injection molds, whatever, and assembly, and that's all part of manufacturing cost. Tooling is one aspect of that.
Seems like it would be difficult to figure out those costs. No? For a brand new thing?
You
you've
send
never made before?
you send a prototype to a factory, and they'll tell you this is how much it's going to cost to make. And then you take that number.
When you say prototype, you mean an actual physical model or like just your design specs?
It could be either or both. The more, the better. If you have prototypes, not just drawings, you'll have a better chance of getting a better quote for manufacturing.
More accurate quote. I imagine there are a lot of pitfalls there.
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of them.
Yeah.
Tons of pitfalls. So let's say the tooling for that iPhone cover is $30,000. Then you have to figure out how much
more than I would have expected.
how much
you
will
to
it
say.
cost to ship from the factory in China, let's say, to the United States. Okay, it'll cost this much, 10 cents, 20 cents per unit. Then you got to say, all right, how much is it going to cost for me to market? I need to have a buffer, packaging. You can't just sell it like that. It has to be in a box with a window. You get costing for that. You get an amount, let's say $60,000. I'm making that up. What do you want to sell it for? $5? Okay, 60,000 divided by 5, right? And then you would break even. And then you would have to say, that's how many so I need to sell this many pre-orders to pay for the tooling, shipping, packaging, and marketing. Now, at Kickstarter, they usually go closer to break even because once they've hit that tooling amount, you can make more. Yeah, exactly. But that's the minimum necessary. If your orders go, pre-orders are double that, then you're gonna make more money because you've amortized your tooling costs over an initial run. But if your math comes out to saying that iPhone case is gonna cost $20, then people are gonna go, I'm not paying $20 for an iPhone cover, and then your Kickstarter won't fund. So it's a very democratic way, to a certain degree, to see if your product is viable or not, without you spending $60,000 out of your own pocket with the hope